Yo, what's up, everybody? I wanted to do a little something different for this review, as I'm not going super in depth. I've not seen this movie multiple times. I've only seen it one time. I'm not doing this big spoiler analysis like I'm doing with the Monsterverse films. So today I just wanted to do a quick and dirty little spoiler-ish review of Ultraman Rising, because I've been looking forward to this film for quite a while, and I just wanted to talk about it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some hardcore Ultraman fan with all this Ultraman franchise knowledge or anything that knows of everything that's ever happened in the entire Ultra franchise. If anything, I am slightly better than a casual when it comes to Ultraman media that I have seen off the top of my head, because I know I've started multiple of the shows and then just never finished them. The ones that stick out to me the most, because I specifically remember them, are Ultraman Orb. I got through, I think, about halfway in high school, and I never finished it. And then there was the Netflix Ultraman, the anime, the one that is a lot more like Kamen Rider than Ultraman, which, to be honest, from what I remember of that first season, I actually liked it. I actually didn't think it was that bad. And then obviously Shin Ultraman, I mean, right there he is. Really hot take. As someone who's not even like a hardcore Ultraman fan, Shin Ultraman's just the slightest bit better than Shin Godzilla in my opinion. They're both 10 out of 10s in my opinion, but I like Shin Ultraman just the slightest bit more. Just the slightest bit. I know that's a hot take from hell, but just let me have my opinion. But anyways, all that aside, Ultraman Rising is the latest project out of the Ultraman Ultra franchise, a feature-length animated film that is director Shannon Tindle's directorial debut, who, fun fact, is from my home state of Kentucky. Kentucky boys, rise up. But I have been looking forward to Ultraman Rising for a long time, ever since it got announced. The film follows young Kenji Sato as he moves back to his homeland of Japan after playing baseball over in America, where he is not only taking up the mantle of Ultraman from his father, but is also juggling with, baseball, but also the unexpected responsibility of becoming the father to a giant kaiju baby, Emmy. He's initially not down with this idea of being a father at all, but as the film goes on, you see he starts to care for Emmy starts to care for him, until the end of the film, where our antagonist Dr. Onda threatens to take the child away from him. Ultraman, together with the help of his father, who comes out of retirement to become Ultra Dad. I love that he's got a little mustache. But those two, along with Emmy and her real mother Gigantron, team up to fight against Dr. Onda in just an absolutely smacker of a final battle. And the film ends with Kenji, having a complete character change, going from a kind of, snotty, kind of egotistical kind of guy, baseball player, into, a really wholesome, respectful man who, has raised this baby kaiju. And it was such a fun watch. I really enjoyed this movie a lot before we even get into the review. Now, as always, I structure my review as we talk about what I didn't like first. That way we can end it on a positive note, no matter what movie we're talking about. So we are going to start with our negatives of this film. To me, the weakest link of this film is probably the beginning, 48-ish minutes. Really, up until he kind of starts taking care of Emmy, the film just kind of is okay. It was alright up until that point. It felt like the writing and everything in the beginning just was nowhere near as good as the end. It feels like they knew where they wanted to take Kenji as a character and just didn't know how to naturally start it, because he feels like a completely different person in the beginning of the film. And I understand that is for, like I said, character development. You're supposed to go from, oh, this guy kind of sucks, to, oh, I love him. He's a great father, everything by the end of the movie. But I feel like they just kind of overdid it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't like him there at the beginning of the movie. I thought he's kind of a hateable guy. I really didn't care much for him. He just was kind of he felt so put out as being Ultraman, and then having to deal with that, and then the baseball, he was like, I don't want to be on this team, all this other stuff. And like I said, I understand that is, to get him from point A to point B where they want him to be in the plot, but I feel like they could have made him a little bit more sympathetic in the beginning, because he just kind of feels like an entitled asshole in the beginning of the film. I'm not gonna lie. I do like that, the way the other characters treat him reflects that. No one's just like, oh, I love you, dude, you're awesome, even though he's like a complete asshole to them. I like that the people surrounding him actually reflects the way he acts, but I feel like there could have been more nuance done to it, because rarely in life is anyone just that outright of an asshole unless they are actually just an asshole. And speaking of the beginning half of the film, I just feel like the beginning half of the film, with its writing in general and its pacing, was just is a little weird. Like, it's not really clear until like it's mentioned later in the film that Kenji's mother went missing, and you don't really get that sense that him and his father don't like each other until that scene where they interact with each other. He pulls up to his house and he's like, screw you, dude. Like, I just feel like all this stuff could have been set up a little better. It was just the pacing in the beginning was just odd. Also really wish we had more time to develop the villain, Dr. Onda, or antagonist. He's not really an outright villain. He's more of a sympathetic kind of villain. I wouldn't say he's a bad, like, completely underdeveloped or anything villain, but, you know, he just didn't get enough time to shine, in my opinion. He is absolutely badass in that final battle, but just, like, I just feel like not enough time was spent with him, because, like, it was, like, here and there, like, just sparing, like, little bits until you really get to spend time with him. It was kind of the same problem that Godzilla x Kong had. They just, like, really didn't spend enough time with the villain, in my opinion. Like, his presence is felt, but it's just, he's not actually there enough. And this is just kind of a nitpick for me, but the movie did 2 fake out deaths, and the first one was fine, the one with Kenji's father. I think that was cool, him coming back as Ultra Dad. That was cool. I liked that one. But the second one where, you know, he does the bubble shield over Dr. Onda's self-destructing mech, they tried to make you think he died, and in the very next scene, he's just sitting there talking to, I forgot the interviewer's name already, I'm not gonna lie, the woman that interviews him throughout the movie. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why they tried to do a fake out death there. It was completely pointless. That's all I really gotta say concerning that. But that's pretty much all I have to say in the negatives department for Ultraman Rising. As for positives, let's just go ahead and get the elephant in the room out of the way. The animation. Oh my god. I absolutely love this new era of animation that we're getting, like this super stylized, every frame a painting style animation that we see in stuff like Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Bad Guys. There's definitely plenty more films like that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but those are the ones that come to mind. And Ultraman Rising is no exception. The character designs in this film are just absolutely fantastic. I started following the director, Shannon Tindle, on Instagram, and he's posted really interesting tidbits on how they designed the kaiju, like how Emmy and Gigantron both were designed with people fitting into old tokusatsu kaiju suits in mind. Like, they're designed to fit a human skeleton inside them. And I find that design language very interesting, especially with the way it contrasts with, like, the way, you know, Ultraman himself is designed. You know, he's very, like, slim, superhero-esque build, and just everything in the visuals department, the animation, the character design, the lighting, the texturing and everything of the models, the cinematography, even the cinematography is just there's so many sick shots and like camera tracking movements and all this stuff. It's so creative, especially for like a brand new director. It's just like, it's mind-blowing that this guy hasn't directed like another feature-length movie. I'm like, wow. Oh my god, this is really impressive. Another thing I love about this movie, and this is just like, it gets a soft spot for me. The movie as a whole was a very wholesome movie, and that always gets me. I love stuff with, like, you know, family issues that wind up, you know, they find a way to work it out, even though, you know, not everything's perfect and everything. The film really pulls on your heartstrings in all the right ways, especially with Emmy. Emmy is just, I love her. She's so adorable. So, you know, if you like films like that, then I think you'll really enjoy this one. That's part of the reason I enjoy Godzilla x Kong so much, is the super wholesome ending. Back to like cinematography and stuff, you know, the action in this film is just so badass, and I love like all the impact frames and stuff, like, you know, like where you get like a little freeze frame and it's like really exaggerated with all the colors and stuff. Ooh, I love stuff like that. The music and score in this film was also overall pretty good in my opinion. I actually really like the music in this film. Where I make music personally, that's always something I pay attention to, is the music in a film. I pay attention to that way more than a lot of people do. And I don't even like Oliver Tree's music that much, but the license song that him and Diplo made is just, ooh, oh my god, dude, it's been on repeat. It's been on repeat ever since the movie came out. It's a good song. It's a really good song. Back to like kaiju stuff though, there's plenty of Ultra franchise references. Like, I think Gamora's mentioned one time. I'd have to rewatch the movie. Like I said, this is based off of one watch of the film. But there's also kaiju references just in general throughout the film. There's multiple Godzilla references. The one that stood out to me the most was Emmy doing the victory dance from Invasion of the Astro Monster. That just really, that put a smile on my face. I was like, yes! Back to the writing and stuff though, Kenji instantly became so much more likable once he started taking care of Emmy and everything, and, you know, started kind of humbling himself. Obviously, like I said, this was actual character growth. I think that, you know, it really is like he becomes a completely different character by the end of it. Like, he is not the same character. Obviously, like I said, character development, that's understandable, but I think there could have been more nuance to it, but I do like that he changed his ways. And something that I really like to see as someone who, you know, I spend a lot of time with my dad, and, you know, I know a lot of people who, you know, don't really get to see their fathers often and stuff. Because let's go ahead and get this out of the way. This movie is definitely a Father's Day movie. But I really liked how Kenji and his father, Professor Sato, I liked how they, over the course of the movie, repaired their relationship from, you know, the state it was in to really finally finding common ground with each other and, you know, finally respecting each other and, you know, growing to love each other again, since, you know, they probably weren't on the best of terms for a very long time, considering the way, you know, this movie implies their relationship. And while liking in development, I will say Onda, when he was on screen, was a badass. He just had like this kind of aura about him, and then obviously his big giant warship turning into a giant transformer that got the Transformers fan in me going. I was like, oh shit. I was like, yo, that's so cool. Especially with the flaming blade. Like, oh my god, dude, who cooked that? Because they need a raise. They need a raise so bad. And back to what I was talking about with Emmy earlier. Emmy was actually adorable and not annoying. That was my biggest worry about this film going into it, was that, oh, this baby kaiju Emmy, she's just going to be annoying as hell. But no, we're 2 for 2 on baby kaiju this year, actually not being annoying. It's kind of crazy. Suko, I actually liked Suko a lot in GXK. I thought Suko was a pretty nice addition to the MonsterVerse. Same with Emmy. I thought Emmy was a great addition to the Ultra franchise. I thought she was actually a very fun, entertaining little kaiju. I definitely like her a lot more than Suko. I will tell you that right now. She was an adorable little critter. And once again, back to that design philosophy, I really loved how Shannon Tindle designed these kaiju with the idea of, hey, we could fit a human skeleton inside of this kaiju if we were to make it into a suit. So that really shows like his respect and care for like tokusatsu and just kaiju in general. I really liked that a lot. Gigantron was, you know, an alright kaiju. I like the design a lot. Not really a huge fan of the name, since, you know, it's just like giant, whatever, like, yeah. But I will say, when they did the whole thing with her becoming Mecha Gigantron and fighting Ultraman until she finally bursts out of it and is like, hey, this is my kid. You can't be having me do this. I absolutely loved that. I thought that was a fantastic scene. And the whole final battle out in the ocean with Ultraman, his father, Ultra Dad, Emmy, and then Gigantron, all fighting against Dr. Onda, was just, oh, some peak kaiju cinema right there. Some peak kaiju cinema. It was such an entertaining final battle. Regardless of the cheap fake out death with Kenji, it was, oh, it's just such a sick final battle. I loved it. And then obviously, you know, like I said, the wholesome ending, I just, hits me in the feels. I love it. Now, off of first watch of Ultraman Rising, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Like I said, first watch, my opinion may change. It's part of the reason I didn't do a big, long video, because I would rather do that for a movie I've watched multiple times, but you get the point. But I found Ultraman Rising to be a well-worth addition to the Ultra franchise. I found it to be a very entertaining film, created with nothing but love and care for not only the Ultra franchise, but the kaiju genre as a whole, and tokusatsu as a whole. I can tell just off this one film alone, Shannon Tindle is a huge kaiju fan, and I'm gonna say it, I would love to see him take a shot at the Godzilla franchise. I genuinely think we need an animated Godzilla film made by this guy. I think he would cook just a banger movie. But yeah, as a whole, I thought Ultraman Rising was an entertaining, fun, absolutely enjoyable film. And in my opinion, this may be a hot take. I'm going to say it right now. I've not finished Pacific Rim the Black. I've not seen season 2. But I'm going to say it based off of what I remember. This is probably Netflix's best piece of kaiju media. I was genuinely impressed from beginning to end, even with some of the writing issues and stuff, that just how well this film turned out. It had so much style, visual flair, and everything, and it actually had some good substance to it despite some writing issues. But yeah, that pretty much sums up my, you know, quick spoiler-ish thoughts on Ultraman Rising. If you want to see me cover some more Ultraman stuff, please let me know. That'll give me an excuse to, you know, watch some Ultraman stuff that I haven't seen before. And I am more than willing to do a big long video on Shin Ultraman. I would love to. I probably will eventually, so, you know, just give me some time on that. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to, you know, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of Ultraman Rising if you've seen it, or if you haven't seen it. You know, kind of sucks that I spoiled it for you, but, you know, you should go watch it. Check it out and let me know what you think. Come back and let me know what you think of the movie. If you want to see more kaiju content, I may mainly do Godzilla stuff. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram, you know, to keep up to date and everything. I would say follow my TikTok, but I have not touched TikTok in so long. So, you know, I'm not gonna say TikTok. I'm just gonna say Instagram. I'm gonna be switching it up from kaiju stuff soon. I'm gonna be covering some Transformers stuff leading up to Transformers 1, but I will still work in some kaiju videos in between now and then. So, you know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's still gonna be stuff for y'all if y'all don't like Transformers. I got you. And as always, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you. And I just wanted to, before I forget, I got to check the view count so I get the most recent number. The video I made on the next MonsterVerse film, being a Godzilla solo film, is currently at 908 views right now. My highest viewed video on the channel by a margin, by a large margin. And a lot of you all have come to this channel from that video, and I just wanted to say thank you all for making that my biggest video, period. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna be doing some more MonsterVerse related stuff. I got some theory videos cooking up. I got some, you know, videos covering individual kaiju. Like I want to do one on Shimo specifically. Just, you know, we got a lot of good stuff cooking up in the oven. It may take a bit to come out because, you know, I work a job and then I got college coming up here in August. So, you know, I got to juggle a lot of responsibilities, but, you know, I'll try my best to get everything out as timely as I possibly can. But as always, you know, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you all so much for watching. It means the world to me that you all check out this channel. I get to talk about the things that I love, just, you know, just yapping into the camera. It means a lot. Thank you. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Peace. Yeah.